Hello, Dan here with L.E. Wilson Incorporated again. Today we're going to talk about mounting the standard case trimmer to the L.E. Wilson stand and also the case holder clamp. The first thing you're going to want to do is grab a 5/8 and a 7/16 wrench. That'll be for the clamp, a flathead screwdriver, and a 5/32 hex wrench. Now your stand will come packaged with two 1032 by 7/8 hex head screws, and also an instruction sheet, and it will give you the setup rundown on here as well. First thing you want to do is remove the cutter. Just makes it easier to handle. And then there's two screws underneath here, flatheads, and we're going to take one out at a time. We'll do the bearing side first, and we're going to remove this screw all the way. Now, these two screws hold the trimmer together completely, so removing them both at the same time makes it a little more difficult. If you notice, the holes on the stand are offset. One side is for the bearing and one side is for the stop assembly, which is this end. So make sure you've got that lined up to where it sits pretty flush on there on each end. And then take your Allen hex head screws, just one of them, and run that up through the bottom so it protrudes. On the bottom of the bearing we make two threaded holes. The center one is a standard mount, and the opposite ended one is for longer cases. If you're getting into doing some wildcat calibers, or you just want a little more room when removing like a 30-06 case, you can bump it out and trim that way. We're going to mount it in the center hole this time. So line that up and then just get it hand tight on there. Now you're going to want to flip this over and remove the second screw. Set that aside. I'm going to turn this back around again so you can see it. I'll feed this screw straight through so it sticks up. And with the stop assembly facing stop that side, slotted end to the outside, we're going to get this one hand tight too. Now that you've got them snug, you can take your 5/32 hex and snug both of these down. They don't have to be super tight, you know, make them so it's on there, it's nice and sturdy. Now we've got that mounted on the stand. On the opposite end, we've got two holes where you can mount this to the bench with wood screws, or the other option is to, if you don't want a permanent fixture on there, you can slide it to the edge and put a C-clamp on your on the base of this. The case holder clamp is packaged like this, and you'll want to take a look at this stuff in here. We've got the instruction sheet on how to set this up and what wrenches you'll need to adjust the clamp. It's easiest just to find the mounting hole there on the stand and thread it on there. This is where the 5/8 wrench comes in. Snug that down and swing this to the side. Now you've got your case holder with the case in it, and the proper way for the case to sit is exactly like that. It can be more or less from case to case, it doesn't matter, because you have two definite stops, the stop screw and then the cutter bottoming out on the jam nut. So no matter where this sits in the holder, whether it sits there, there, or there, you're always going to have a uniform trim length. Put your case holder onto the trimmer, and this is where you adjust your tension on the clamp with the 7/16 wrench. Just kind of tighten it down until you get the right amount of tension on there. And that's a matter of preference. You don't want it too tight to where you can't get the holder out, but you want it tight enough to hold. So there you go. You go from case to case. You just take this out, tap it on the surface, grab your next case, tap it on the head, put it back in there, and go to trimming.